morning, everyone. Good morning, Peekskill. Actually, and before we got on, and I should have done this before, if everyone can just mute themselves before we get started. Sorry about that. Sorry, folks, for those of you tuning in at home. We're very sorry. We're running a little late this morning. We had some technical difficulties, but such is life post COVID-19 in the Zoom world. But thank you all so much for joining us. My name is Vanessa Agudelo. I'm one of your Peekskill City Council members, and I'm very excited to welcome you to another week of our Peekskill COVID-19 updates community calls. Now, the purpose of these calls is to create a space for community leaders to convene in a COVID-safe way with the intention of helping members of the public to understand and support efforts to respond to the coronavirus crisis by providing weekly updates from key agencies, including ways that we can all pitch in and lessen the burden. We hold these calls on a weekly basis every Thursday starting at 9:30 a.m. Today we're starting a little late, but right around 9:30 you'll be able to catch us on our City of Peekskill Facebook page live. These meetings will be recorded and will be posted after the fact on our City of Peekskill webpage, as well as broadcasted on our government channel. Every week we will be rotating stakeholders to give the public the ability to hear from a variety of agencies as well as from different departments here at City Hall. But today we will be hearing from, as usually we have Reverend Phillips and Ben Bolton from HRHCare. Today from the Peekskill School District we have Dr. Mary Foster and Principal, where are you? I'm trying to, is it Lincoln Walner?
Lichten Walner.
Lichten Walner. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. And that's why the students and the parents know me as Mr. L.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. And then we also have the Arts 10566 team, Wilfredo and a number of the teachers doing really awesome work in our community. We're really happy to have you. We have Dinora Pacheco from the Peekskill Hispanic Community Corporation, Carol Voicy from Choice, and then we have one of our own, Jessica Ganis from our Section 8 department. So before we start, where we get right into the agenda, I'm going to pass it over to our Mayor Rainey to give us, to open us up with some welcoming remarks.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My mic on? Okay. Yes. I just want to say thank you to all of you for being here this morning. It's a pleasure to have you all here. I'm looking forward to hearing some of the information and stuff that you're going to share with myself, the city manager, and the rest of the community that are watching. This is probably as close as I get to see some of my friends and colleagues in the city of Peekskill. So it's a pleasure to be able to Zoom with all of you. And as you all know, obviously you all are taking care of yourselves and following protocols such as social distancing and protecting yourselves because you're all here looking healthy. So good morning and thank you. And for those of you who are at home watching, you can also check all of this information out on our city website. Our city manager updates our city website just about daily for more information. So if there's anything that you're missing here that you want to know about the city of Peekskill and what the city of Peekskill is doing to handle the COVID-19 crisis specifically, please check our city website out at cityofpeekskill.com. Also check our city Facebook page out, which you're probably watching right now. And if you don't prefer to use online or social media, you can always check out the government channel. All of this information will be updated on a daily basis. And we try to make sure that the community stays informed. So thank you all for joining us this morning, taking time out of your busy days. It's wonderful to see you all once again. And I look forward to hearing more about what you're doing in the city of Peekskill and also how the city of Peekskill can collaborate with you and help make things better. So God bless you all and thanks again.
Thank you so much, Mayor. And for folks watching at home, just a reminder, please share this live video, share it on your page, share it on group pages. We want to ensure that the information that's being disseminated today we really maximize the reach and the amount of people that are able to hear from our different community leaders. So please share it while you're watching, after the fact. As far as we can get these videos, the better. So, and thank you all again so much for being here. So first up, we have Reverend Phillips and Ben Bolton from HRHCare. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Reverend.
Good. Well, good morning to all. It's certainly another beautiful day in the city of Peekskill, rah mayor. And then to be able to share with you that Hudson River Healthcare, usually daily, we've been meeting some 50 plus of our employees to go over the course of the day and how things are going. And since we've been making some particular benchmarks, if you will, we'll now be meeting just twice a week. We meet Zoom meeting from 5 to 6 p.m. And one of our focuses on Tuesday was to say, now we need to begin to look at what we call our new normal. Let me try to get this phone off. Our new normal. And in terms of our new normal, it's beginning to look at how we will continue social distancing in terms of our waiting areas, in terms of how many patients will be able to come in when we're talking about face-to-face visits rather than some of the telephone encounters or telemedicine visits. And our own staff some who've been working remotely, how that's really working and what will be some of the continuance of some of those remote sites that people will begin to work at. It's important in this new normal, if you will, because it's ever changing, as all of you know. And so we're going to just continue to update you as we go along and seeing how these things are all going to fit in so that we can continue to keep the safe distancing and doing all of the other things, but also being able to make sure that in our community activity that we can still reach out and touch, if you will, what it is that we're doing and how we can continue to go forward. So at this time, I'll pass it over to Ben, who'll give you all those statistics, if you will. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Phillips, and thank you to the entire city for giving us this opportunity to participate. And as Reverend Phillips pointed out, we are getting closer to, we're hard pressed to define what normal is, but we're going to call it the next normal. New York State continues to reopen. There's a regional plan that as of May 15th, a lot of the restrictions were lifted on a regional basis based on a matrix of criteria. 7 of the regions out of 11 have met those criteria. Our region is getting closer. We had hit 5 out of 7 currently. One of those metrics is contact tracing, and that's expected to be reached this week, which means we'll have 1 left, which is the hospitalization rates, mortality rates. So that is encouraging as far as moving forward. However, that opening up will be still including a number of social distancing, a number of the aspects that we're currently experiencing. It's just selective businesses and activities will free up slightly. In support of that, earlier this week, the Center for Disease Control issued a very comprehensive return to work set of guidelines based on a variety of different activities ranging from businesses to schools to other activities, and that is on their website. It's a 68-page document that covers a great deal of activities, and while we don't have a reopen date in New York or in our region yet, we would encourage people, this is what we're using as a foundational document at Hudson River Healthcare, to begin to think about what we're going to need to do in order to comply and in order to provide safe environments for both our workforce and our patients. So reviewing those and beginning to understand what steps are going to need to be taken in preparation for that now is highly recommended. In Peekskill itself, We've seen a reduction by about 23% of active cases, even though the total number of cases has increased by about 5%. So again, a lot of this is due to isolation. In Westchester County, there are about 32,000 confirmed cases with a positivity rate of about 25%. The New York State and Westchester County mortality rates have increased slightly by about 0.2 of a percentage point. But a lot of that can be attributed to just delays and variations in data accumulation. So we're still trending overall in a positive level. Testing rates have increased by about 4%, so that's continuing to move well. And hospitalization rates continue to decrease. We're based on hospitalization of the disease, we're almost at 99%. So that's another positive sign of people not requiring hospitalization. So those are the fundamental numbers. New York State has a very good dashboard called forward.newyork.gov, which gives you a lot of the unpaused steps and the perspective from New York State. And we highly recommend that as a resource, as well as the CDC.
Thank you so much, Reverend Phillips and Ben Bolton, for that, for giving us those updates and that really important information. Do we have any questions online or any questions from folks on the phone?
Sorry, it took me a second there. We've got about 20 or so people watching live, 21, and so far I'm not seeing questions. But I will let you know when I see them and feed them in to our panelists as appropriate.
Great, and I did have a question. Does HRHCare still have the walk-in testing site right outside?
Yes, that's still open and still active, and patients can call to make an appointment. And in addition to Peekskill, we have a number of sites throughout the county, and we can usually get same day or next day appointments.
And that time is from 1 to 4 in the rear of the building.
1 to 4 on a daily basis?
Yes.
Okay, great. Is there any possibility that there might be an option of doing like a pop-up testing site elsewhere in the city of Peekskill, if there is space availability? Just because I had been, one of the members of Mount Olivet Church actually reached out to me, and they were asking me as to how they could possibly have a testing site in their parking lot, because there's members of the community, for whatever reason, are not aware that HRHCare are doing testing, or may not feel comfortable going there, or feel more comfortable going to their like religious congregation. So I'm not sure if that's an option, or what the logistics, or like if the logistics are so complicated that it wouldn't be possible. But I did want to throw it out there as a possibility, and I know there seems some willingness in wanting to host and have a space to do so.
Well, I certainly appreciate the question, if you will, and people being concerned and wanting testing. But I would say right now, more or less off the top of my head, is that the number is not an exceeding number at the 1037 site, and what it takes to set up and how many staff to go to another site for a smaller number might not be as feasible. But I think that perhaps the other part of the outreach, and maybe I, as a part of PAPA and knowing members at Mount Olivet, is to be able to share with them, and maybe they could arrange some transportation or something to come to the other site, and maybe that might, help be an answer.
Okay. Thank you, Reverend Phillips.
Yes.
Were there any other questions?
Actually, I had a question. With regard to how is the contact tracing happening?
Contact tracing is being run out of New York State Department of Health. They've recruited basically 30 individuals for every 100,000 of the New York State population. Those contact tracers go through a training period with New York State, and then what happens is on an individual basis, they call or contact in some way individuals who have tested positive. There's a lengthy interview process looking for a look-back period of 10 days to identify all those that have been contacted. That's entered into a generalized database, and it sort of works, if you can imagine, almost like a family tree basis, where for each of those contacts, there's then subsequent contact. And what that data is being used for is to identify clusters, identify risk areas, and to do continued outreach into testing to track and identify the spread of the virus.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All righty. Well, thank you again so much, Reverend Phillips and Ben Bolton, for being on our call. Next up, we have from the Peekskill School District, Dr. Mary Foster and Hillcrest Principal Randy Lichtenwallner. Did I get it right? Sort of. Okay, thanks.
So hello, thank you so much for inviting us to join and to update the community. I'd really like to start with a thank you to parents and families, because when the schools had to very quickly redesign the way we deliver instruction, the heavy lift really became on the families, right? On the parents as educators, as new educators in the home, people who never imagined they'd have to homeschool. So we really appreciate that, and we thank the families so much for helping their children learn along with us. We have traditional instructional packets that are hard copy packets. They continue to be available, phase 3 now, at Uriah Hill School on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have staff that will hand out packets from pre-K through grade 5 to parents and families who prefer a hard copy or need a hard copy because of technology inequities in the city and in people's lives. We also have Chromebook distribution. And originally, we were only lending Chromebooks to students in middle school and high school initially, but we've opened that up in grades 2 through 12. So that's also Tuesdays and Thursdays at Uriah Hill School from 9:30 to 12:30. And we will continue to do that today and next week, so the 26th and the 28th. And then we only have 3 weeks left in June, but if you needed one or a Chromebook had an issue, of course, you could contact your school principal or me, Mary Foster. If you call the school, this is important for parents to know, and leave a message, we do get the messages on our computer and you will get a call back. So don't feel that just because schools are closed traditionally, that you can't leave a message on our school phones or our office phones at the administration building. I have one other quick thing to tell you, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Lichtenwallner because he has an exciting opportunity for the community to share. We have transition meetings coming up. There will be virtual town halls, and all the elementary principals and secondary principals are going to do a welcome for the incoming parents and class for September. So for instance, if you have a child entering pre-K, Principal Carmen Vargas will do her town hall and tell you all about Uriah Hill. Mr. Lichtenwallner will do one for the incoming 4th graders, because I know parents are starting to get anxious about next year. And next year, we're not sure if it will be virtual or a hybrid or face-to-face. We're not sure yet, but we're planning for all eventualities. So I want the community to rest assured that we will be prepared regardless whether it's face-to-face, virtual, or a hybrid of the two. But I'm very excited to turn it over to Mr. Lichtenwalner because his fifth graders are doing something very exciting, and we want to invite the community to help us. Mr. L.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Foster. I also just wanted to reiterate Dr. Foster's thanks to our families who have really been amazing, having to juggle being teachers and parents and caregivers all during a very difficult time. So thank you so much to all of our parents. I also wanted to just take this opportunity to give a shout out to our teachers because they really rose to the occasion during this emergency response by pulling together online resources for students, as well as creating those initial packets that we provided to them. We now have more and more students participating online in our Google Classroom, which is really wonderful. And our teachers now, in this post-emergency response, the first period, they've had a little bit more time now to and more opportunity to plan valuable, pertinent instruction and activities for our students. And that's where this activity that I'm about to tell you about comes into play. So what our teachers did is they realized that our students had been missing quite a bit of the school year. So they went back to around March 16th when we first went out and looked at all of the curriculum and all of the learning that would have taken place from March 16th until the end of the year. And they prioritized what are the most important skills and standards for us to address with our students before we pass on to the next grade. And so that guides their work now for the packets and the online instruction for the rest of the year. There were two changes specifically in one in fourth and one in fifth to our writing units, and that's what I wanted to tell you about today. In fourth grade, typically at the end of the year, our students read and write historical fiction. This year, they're going to be reading historical fiction in addition to other reading that they'll be doing. But instead of writing a historical fiction story that takes place in the past, they'll instead be writing a story that takes place here and now during this historic time. So they'll be using all of the historical influences to impact the plot of their story. And those stories will take place right here in Peekskill in 2020. For future people, perhaps, to read and see what it was like to be 10 years old here in Peekskill, New York. The fifth graders, who typically read and write biographies at the end of their fifth grade year, will be reading biographies and learning about how biographers write biographies. But instead of choosing a celebrity or a famous person in history to research and write a biography about, instead, they will be researching someone who exists here today, working on the front lines during this pandemic here in Peekskill. So it could be a family member or a family friend who is, helping to support the common good, working on the front lines as an essential worker here in Peekskill. They'll interview them and they'll write a short biographical article about these Peekskill heroes. And so we really look forward to having our fifth graders having this really authentic opportunity to highlight the doctors and nurses and medical workers, the sanitation workers, all of our first responders, people working and manning our grocery stores and gas stations and restaurants and car mechanics and city workers and everyone who is a hero right now in the city of Peekskill. And then we'll pull all of those biographical articles together and hopefully be able to present them in some way so that we all have an opportunity to learn about them and to celebrate those individuals who are making a big difference in all of our lives right now. So here is the specific thing. Some people will not have a family member or a close family friend who is an essential worker that they can interview. And so we're asking the public, if you know anyone, if anyone in your family or a friend or a colleague is an essential worker during this time, and they would help us by filling out a questionnaire about themselves so that our fifth graders might be able to use that as the source material for their biographical article about a Peekskill hero. We would really appreciate your assistance with that. The link to the questionnaire is available on our district website and also on our social media. But you could also, as Dr. Foster said, the phones, we do get messages. So if you'd like, you can also call or email us and we can send you the electronic link. Or if people prefer, we can also send a paper copy. And that way, we would have some information about some essential workers for our fifth graders to potentially write a biographical article about them so that they can be included in our compilation of Peekskill heroes.
Thank you so much, Mr. L. I hope you don't mind if I call you that. And Dr. Mary Foster, that's a really amazing project. I really appreciate you sharing that with us today. And I agree. I mean, it's absolutely a troubling time for all of us, but it is a historical time, right? And the fact that we're engaging our young people, and it's absolutely crafting the minds of our young people, the way that they perceive the world and perceive our essential workers and those who are putting their health on the line every day, just to be able to make ends meet and be able to provide for their families. I think that that's a really fabulous way to have kids really tap into the moment that we're currently in a way that's much deeper and more personable, and not just very abstract essential workers, but you're putting a face behind these people and a story, and that's really, really great. I think it's something that the community really needs to hear more about, and I'm glad that that's being taken on by our young fifth graders in Peekskill. That's quite a task.
Great, thank you so much. I think that it is really important for our youngsters to see the heroic efforts of their neighbors, the people that they see on the street every day. And I think that this gives them a really authentic purpose for their writing. It gives them a real actual audience other than just their teacher or their classmates. And writing is also can be a really therapeutic activity. So for some of our students, like for our fourth graders, it gives them a chance to be focusing on what's the solution of the problem in this story going to be, and it keeps them solution focused and oriented. And for our fifth graders, it really keeps them focused on the helpers and the heroes in this crisis, and not on all of the negative experiences that they may be having. So we really look forward to some community input. I hope that there are lots of city workers who will help us out by filling out that questionnaire. And please spread the word, post it on social media, because we'd love to have as broad a representation as possible. So thank you so much for allowing us to be here today. Absolutely.
Is anyone on the phone? Does anyone on the phone have any questions for Dr. Mary Foster or Principal Linchenwallner? Or any folks on our Facebook Live stream? Andy, I'm not sure if you're seeing any questions.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty actively responding to questions which are kind of tangential, but let me see if I can. We had a question about whether or not there's been an uptick in homelessness, which I just referred over to Cynthia Knox at the shelter. We have questions and concerns related to street trash and kind of litter, which we speak to regularly, and our DPW is out there cleaning up. Let's see. We have people tuning in, up to 30 now, and they're not responding specifically to the school question. Oh, here's one. This is from somebody named Mr. Stevenson, and
I do want to
actually trying to say, but it's a concern, I think, relative to student advancement from year to year, and I think the concern is over whether or not students will be able to progress academically.
Sure.
If they're not able to complete all the work because they don't have that classroom setting.
Sure. So I can speak to that. That's a concern, you know, as a parent, as a grandparent actually of children in the district. It's a concern that I know that has come forward from parents, or they may not have even expressed it, but they're feeling it. All the elementary children in Peekskill will be promoted, right? So we're not anticipating retaining any children. We certainly don't have data to substantiate something like that at this time. And what I try to tell parents is that it's on us, right, as a school district, to figure out in September, when we have your children hopefully in front of us or even virtually, where they are, and to continue their progress, right? To take them wherever they are and to continue their trajectory toward grade level expectations and beyond, right? Or to catch them up. So that's on us. We are going to have some limited summer programming, which will be virtual, most likely, but face-to-face virtual for some of our most struggling learners. But we are also trying to figure out maybe some extended day programs or some catch-up type programs for next year to help fill in the gaps. And I know this is not a comforting way to think, but I'm a little older, so this is the way I think. When you look back at the course of a child's educational career, these 3 months will be actually like a blip, right? When you look at a college graduation or a master's level graduation years from now, the children will say, oh yeah, you know, when I was in 3rd grade, like we didn't go to school all spring. That was strange. And you know, and they'll recall things that will happen. Maybe they'll recall their special project that they did in Hillcrest, but it will be a blip. For now, it seems like a crisis, right? Which it is. And it will be up to the school district to fill in those gaps and those holes, and we will. And we'll partner with parents, and we'll give extra support and extra resources. And we'll catch children up, and we'll continue to have them grow. For some children, this type of learning has actually been an accelerated experience. And they've taken opportunities to do exploration that they had never been able to do before in a school structure. But for many children, it has been a total spotlight on the inequities in our society, in our city, and in our society. You know, we have to get much better at providing one-to-one devices for kids. We have to look at some Wi-Fi inequities. So there's a lot that the state has to help us with, for sure.
Thank you, Dr. Foster. And Tom, did you want to ask a question?
No, I wanted to applaud Principal Warner for encouraging the kids to show gratitude to the heroes in the community by participating in that assignment, because it's truly powerful, man. We have a lot of heroes within our community that's on the front line, and sometimes we tend to applaud the celebrities and that's glorified, but we have heroes right here in the community. So I want to commend the whole Peekskill district for doing what you're doing now, because it's really needed at this time, and I applaud all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you again to the Peekskill School District for everything that you're doing and all the hard work you're putting into finding creative ways to ensure that our students are still being educationally engaged and continue to learn and really make some lemonade from the lemons we've been given this season, right? So we really appreciate that. So next up, we have our wonderful Arts 10566 team joining us here today. I'll pass it over to Wilfredo to kick us off.
Beautiful. Good morning, Peekskill. Good morning, Peekskill, and thank you once again for this amazing opportunity that you're giving us to all here. And again, it's all about community. I would like to acknowledge from our board of directors, the Reverend Jeanette Phillips, was here because, again, without our boards and their guidance, we tumble into things. I'm going to invite our artists, our remarkable artists, because, again, when it comes to really building and creating things, it is the work it is. So I would like the artist to introduce yourself and the medium that you do, and then from there, we'll take it. So my invitation to you guys.
I'll start. Hi, I'm Justin. I'm the owner and director of the Dance Conservatory in Cortland Manor, but I live right here in Peekskill, and we are the provider of movement and dance for Arts 10566. We have great online classes right now. If you go to arts10566.org and click on digital learning, we have a variety of genres, which everybody will talk about on their own, but kind of a 100-year history of art from 1920 to 2020. And yeah, we want the community to get involved, the parents to help their kids do these projects. Art is such a valuable thing in education and development of a child, and especially in times of need and frustration, it can be a huge outlet, the creative outlet to kind of let all that go and be in your own world. And I'll speak for dance, we had a live class yesterday and we had kids outside in their backyards, in their driveways doing the dance class just to get some fresh air and some movement in them because they're staring at their computers all day. So we invite you all to join that. I'll pass to Susan.
Okay, hi, I'm Susan Feldman and I teach violin to grade 3, 4, and 5 through Arts 10566 and the Daisy Jopling Foundation. I find that it brings, of course, a diversion of thought for the children through this creative process, a normalcy of being part of a group that they have been part of for a year or two. And of course, music and art brings the serenity and peace for your well-being and your spiritual self. So we just want to continue bringing this creativeness for our children. And I'll pass it to Tamara?
Yes.
Hi, so I'm Tamara Bridgewater, and I'm from my own business is Art in a Box Co. that's located in Ossining, New York, but I've had the absolute privilege of working with Wilfredo Morel for the past 4 years, providing workshops and enrichment to the children in the Peekskill community. It's been an amazing experience. I've gotten to work with so many children in the community, and being able to continue that virtually is an experience in itself, and being able to work with the district to provide the enrichment programs to the children and the families to keep that connection going during this time where people kind of feel somewhat disconnected, and being able to work with the kids. Like yesterday I had my class online for STEAM. I teach STEAM and elementary art, and Brandon Cruz teaches the fine arts part of the Arts 10566 program, but being in STEAM and the 5 principles that involve STEAM, and showing the kids how it connects to real life and how things, happen in general, that, they can explore science, technology, engineering, art, and math, and kind of gives them a look into, or a different perspective while they're home. They can go and look at other things and see how they connect as a community, as in their family, in the world, to see where they are. And I think it's an amazing opportunity to be able to continue that digitally while we're doing that, like distance learning, that everybody's calling it, So I thank everybody for their help in making that available to the community and the children. Wilfredo for his forethought, the City of Peekskill for helping to support, and the district for providing it. It's really an awesome opportunity. I'm glad we're all here doing it together. So I'll pass it on to Tom Ray.
Yes.
Spoken word artist.
Tom. Yep.
Yes, great morning, family. First and foremost, I want to give thanks for being on this call with you all. And my name is Tom Ray. I'm from Yonkers, New York, and I am the director of the Expressive Readers course, which is a reading program to help our youth better comprehend and build vocabulary and strengthen their public speaking skills. And I've been blessed to become a spoken word teacher with Arts 10566, which I am truly thankful for. And Wilfredo, I thank you, brother. I thank you so much for allowing me to be on this team with such a great amount of great artists. And I look forward to the opportunity to be able to teach during these times and inspire during these times to help these kids create from out of their own imagination. You know what I mean? So this is truly an honor, and I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yo, Van?
Hey, I am here. My name is Van Elliott Chambless. I'm also known as CYPHLOW, CYPHLOW. It stands for Connecting Young People's Hearts and Living Out Wishes. I do the hip hop program, or I coordinate the hip hop aspect of the Arts 10566 program. Being that hip hop is one of the biggest, fastest, and most influential genres of music of our generation, it's important that we keep our youth introduced and engaged in what helps the culture, because hip hop is a culture. So within this 100-year span that we've done from 1920 to 2020, we've been doing, well, in the hip hop aspect of it, I've been doing timelines and various different influential time periods within that time that hip hop has emerged, or the culture of hip hop has helped and pushed the generations through various different times, whether it was segregation, whether it's colored music, various different aspects of the music and how it shaped the culture of today's times. So I do the hip hop portion. I'm very blessed to be a part of this. I've known Wilfredo for a long time. Much respect and honor to Mrs. Phillips, Reverend Phillips. I've worked with the Health Center for a long time, and I'm very proud of the program that we're doing. We're working on getting more kids engaged. So I hope this, the live stream that's on Facebook as well as the Zoom, will help parents and other community members to help push the kids to be a part of this program, because it's absolutely important for the kids to stay engaged at this time. So thank you for everyone to be a part of this.
Thank you. And Eileen?
Had to remember to unmute, sorry. Hi, I'm Eileen. Eileen Sullivan. I'm the program coordinator for Arts 10566. And I have been working with Wilfredo for about 3 years now. I actually started as a teaching artist, but have moved on to the coordination part, which is keeping everybody kind of connected. And what I want to do is I want to say thank you to the most incredible team of arts, of teachers, the executive director, the board. I could never have imagined being a part of such a team that works so well together in such a chaotic time. And I'm going to quote Mr. Wilfredo Morel in that chaos is unnecessary, and thank you for guiding us through this with as little chaos as possible. And I have to thank the team of the city school district and the city for helping put this together and for actually allowing this to come through. And most of all, I want to thank the parents and the families of the children of Peekskill for allowing us to come into your homes now, not just to be with your children in school and in the youth centers, but actually in your homes. It's a privilege, and I really appreciate it, and I know the team does as well. And I want to say one thing from the community. Peekskill has realized that we do have resources, and we can come together, and we do it very well. And thank you all for this wonderful opportunity, and we're just going to forge forward. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. That's our team. I definitely wanted to thank the school district for the opportunity in saying, Wilfredo, see what you guys can do. And we're doing it. I had to say that we're doing it live and we're doing it pre-recorded so that the information is always available for our community. I want to share with you about the challenges, because it is always important about the challenges. Number one thing that we found out about our students is that based on the homework and the work that we're giving them, some of them are lacking tools. For example, whether it's brushes or anything like that in their own home. And if anybody can help or have information on that, those are kind of the tools that they need, and they have made it known. The other thing is limited access to the internet, and very often the hardware. And that was, again, we saw it at hand. We were able to facilitate that, but as a community, I'm just putting it out there. The other piece is language. It is true that we're communicating with the children who are basically know about how to use the tools, but first is the parents that need to understand how those tools they can use and what kind of information they're going to indulge, and to make sure that whatever program or whatever organization is tampering with the children, that is safe. And again, when I say language, is because the majority of our the students that we see are Spanish speaking. And I wish that our virtual program, whether it's Zoom or anything like that, had the availability to transfer, to change those that information into the language of choice. The other part is marketing. We definitely hope that as we speak here, that this information goes to the vast majority of our community. Communication is one of the biggest problems, especially now with COVID virus, believe it or not. We think that we have been using technology and all that, but we're still missing a lot of information out there, especially in our community. So if we can team up, if we can create one single document or calendar where the community can go understand it, it will be great. We have all these programs for free. They are free. We did made it a choice. For the school district, because we're working with the teachers and the school district, that's the live, that's the virtual learning that we do, and that's basically well organized and scheduled. But also we give the opportunity to the vast majority of our community to do it basically at any time. The work is also going to be archived in YouTube. The schedule, and with that I keep my mouth shut, is on so on Wednesdays, we have on Wednesday between the hours of I wanted to say 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock, we have basically the dance, STEAM, also the I forgot to mention Brandon Cruz, who is not only the muralist, but also Brandon Cruz was the one who set us up virtually. Amazing artist. He's the muralist, and of course from there we go into the spoken words, which you heard from our brother here, and then we go into the Cypher, which is the hip hop. If I forgot anyone, please jump in. But we go from Wednesday through Thursday. The earliest that we start is 3, and the latest that we end is at 6 o'clock.
The strings, the music.
The string, the music, Susan, my goodness. String is 2 days a week. It's amazing. 2 days, that's right, Tuesdays and Thursday. And on Thursday is 2 sessions that we do. We start at 2 o'clock and we end at 5 o'clock, I believe. The number of students, keep changing. It is new. We are free. We are available. And what we ask of you is that to put the word out there. I really thank our supporter. I really thank our partners on this, because we all are partners on this. And may God bless everyone, and the opportunity again, Councilwoman Agudelo, for having us here today. My other role is, again, Director Hispanic Health for my beautiful organization, HRHCare. And like I said in the beginning, it is all about inclusion. It is all about integration. I think I have the best position ever, where everything that we do and everything that I do have to make sense. And how it makes sense is by bringing us all together and providing access, which is what ART 10566 stands for. Thank you so much.
Wilfredo, may I piggyback just to close off?
Yes.
We also want to thank and give honor and appreciation to our great mayor, for
Yes.
maintaining this employees and the support for everyone through these crazy times. We thank you, we honor you, we appreciate you, Mayor Rainey.
And he was one of our teachers.
I'm sitting here biting my tongue like I miss working with y'all so bad. I miss Arts 10566, but it's good to see that you've expanded so far. I remember when you first organized Arts 10566 for this community, and we were looking for a location, and the Balter family had helped out a lot. Yeah. And the original name was Kylie Arts 10566.
Kylie Arts, that's right.
Because we started at the Kylie Center, but you've expanded so much in Peekskill that you had to, remove the name because it's everywhere now. It's in the school district, it's in the youth boroughs and the Kylie Center, so it's really great to see not only what Arts 10566 is doing now, but where it came from, watching it grow. And your passion, Wilfredo, your passion for the youth is extraordinary. And I noticed that the people that you work with, they have that same passion for, whatever it is that they specialize in. They have the same passion for the children. So, to see how far you've come with Arts 10566 is beyond a blessing. And I'm listening to everybody speak. I'm just grinning the entire time. It's amazing how far you've come and the people that you're working with. The city will always be here to support and help Arts 10566 and all of you in any way that we possibly can. So I thank you sincerely for being here this morning and doing what you're doing for this wonderful city.
Reverend Phillips.
Yes, I would just, as a member of the board, I too want to thank all of you, all of our teachers, our school district, our mayor, and everyone that continues to uplift our children as we go forward as a community. It's more than just being all together. We are who we are because we have the love for our community. So again, on behalf of the board, thank you for what you do. And we will be virtually, if you will, reaching back out because all of us need support and funding to make all of these things happen. So we'll make sure we continue to contact you for what those needs may be. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa.
Yeah, no, thank you all so much for being on. I'm feeling really inspired right now from hearing all you speak and all the wonderful programs that you're putting on for our youth. It really is extraordinary, as the mayor said, and I really echo his thoughts. So I appreciate everything that you're doing. And now if folks want to find out more information or if they want to look up the schedule, what is the website that they can log into to find out how to get more plugged into these different programs?
Yeah, they can go to arts10566.org, and that's where they see all the lesson as well as the classes and the date. arts10566.org. Perfect.
Thank you. I just got tossed off for a second because of my internet, but I'm back on. Thank you so much, Wilfredo. We really appreciate all the hard work that you are all doing. Does anyone have any questions for the Arts 10566 team from folks on the call or folks online?
Well, I first want to say that they're getting a lot of kudos from people online, thanking them for their efforts. Yeah, that's basically the tenor of the comments here is really appreciation for the arts programming. I wanted to mention there are a few other questions, Vanessa, if you want to take them for the school district and health related.
Sure. Before we get into those questions, though, I just want to make sure that we've gone through any questions that there might be for Wilfredo and his team. I think Wilfredo did have to jump off for another meeting.
Oh, here's a question just coming in right now. And it has to do with the availability of a violin for someone who wants to participate in the strings program.
I will leave that to Susan.
You're on mute, Susan.
You're on mute, Susan.
Okay. Well, I guess if you contact us with your contact information, I can get back to you about that. How's that? Is that okay?
It sounds like there may be a possibility of instruments for a loan, and that they should contact Arts 10566 to find out more.
We have a very limited number of violins that can be distributed. So if you get in touch with, I guess, Wilfredo, how could they?
Yeah, they can contact me. What happened is that they had to also register into the program. So there's a process. So if they can contact me and again, my email address.
Wilfredo?
Yes,
Wilfredo,
go ahead.
why don't we give them the EMS arts66@gmail. That's the, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, the email is emsarts66@gmail.com. That's a direct email to me, and I can transfer all the information.
Thank you, Eileen.
Eileen, can you put it on the chat also so that Andy can?
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Wilfredo, I know that you had also mentioned about a community document, and just a reminder to folks that we do have our COVID-19 resource doc that the city has put together, and I believe there is an Arts 10566 flyer in there that talks about the programs you have on Monday. But any other information, we would be happy to add that, and maybe we can even add it to our social media, our City of Peekskill Facebook page. Maybe we can also uplift that way, and any way that we can continue to spread the word and really make sure that our youth are taking advantage of these wonderful free programs that are available in the arts. I never had, we didn't really have an art, well, we didn't have an arts teacher for a while when I was at Assumption, so I was not able to take part in arts classes, and I wish that this program was around when I was growing up. So I'm really happy that you're doing this work, and really thank you for everything you're doing. It truly is wonderful. And then lastly, I just want to say, I know that there was a mention about a need for brushes and art supplies. So I just want to put that call out to the community. If you have extra art supplies, brushes, and I don't know what other specific supplies you're looking for, but I'm sure you can work with a variety of different kinds. Please reach out to Arts 10566. I'm sure they would love to, if you're not using them, they would love to make sure that that's in the hands of a young child that may be a future artist in the making, right? For them to be able to tap into these programs and be able to express themselves creatively. So that is one way in which you can help Arts 10566 that I just wanted to uplift before we move on. And Wilfredo, I think you're on mute if you're trying to speak.
Yes, I do have to jump out and all that. For the information, like to post it and all that, where do we send that to you or someone?
Yeah, you can send it to me, or you can send it directly to Andy. Yeah, we can both put that on the.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. God bless. Artist teacher, you can remain there in case of any question coming. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Wilfredo.
Bye.
Alrighty, so next we have Dinora Pacheco from Peekskill Hispanic Community Corporation.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Dinora Pacheco. I'm the president of Peekskill Hispanic Community Corp. And I want to say thank you to all you for the invitation today. And thank you to Peekskill that are working together to run to the pandemic of the COVID-19. Our group is working with many organizations to help, how I can put it on my face, to help the people that need. And it's amazing how the community go together to provide it, many things that the community needed. It's different group organization, the city of Peekskill. Thank you to the mayors and all the staff that working in the city hall that's open and open door for everybody. Our group working with the city hall, distributing some food, work up, the school district that doing an amazing job to distributing food to the people and the thing that the people needed. Fred pantry, we working all over the place. We have it partner with that work with like is Margaret, Emily, and we also get some meal from this Presbyterian hospital here, Valley Hospital here with the culinary nutrition. So we bring all this one. Like yesterday, I went to this school. They give it to me 30 meal, 30 breakfast, and like a 60 bags fruits food that I distribute everywhere in Peekskill, especially in the south side in Washington. Those people that live there call me to asking me, they don't have a car to move and they don't, sometimes they are sick. So what is our group do is give it the food at the door and call them and say, I leave something for you there. And those people, so those kind of thing that we're doing with our group. But also I want to say thank you to my daughter, Luani. She's in the front line to help people. So she work in the ICU in Winchester Medical Center. So she all there, thank God she don't got the virus. I did, my husband, and my 14 years old son doesn't. So he's here at home with us. It's really hard to get the virus. It's through all the things that you have to go. It's different symptoms. My husband had to went to the hospital for 7 days. This is the hard part. So he had to go there. And I remember that one night when he is there, my daughter's working at the hospital. So I get so sick. I get so sick I cannot stand up. I just say to call my son and I say, if you don't hear me, you just call 911. And so because I feel like I need to go to the hospital, I don't have nobody to leave my son with. But many information that we have for the people that get sick is many people doesn't go out of the house. Like his recommendation is wait for when you don't have a breath. And this is a little hard because I wait for that with my husband and he almost died. So if you have more than 3 days with fever, go to the hospital. Go to the hospital and they have to check you and send you home if you don't need to stay, but you can stay if they give you everything that you need if you stay there. So this is my recommendation for the experience that my families and me have. So now I have 2 months here at home, don't work yet. I'm clean already. This is the way how to say. I went to Saturday and have my second test and it's negative. So in the 28th, I can have the antibody test. So because we want to donate the plasma. So what I'm doing now is in monitor my system. So be strong. If this one is okay, the doctor said in the 28th it's okay. So I can provide the plasma. So the other people that's really sick, they can help them. So in the other hands, we were working with this. I just want to share with you what I go through, and you know, it's like it's hard, but you don't get in panic. Don't get in panic because you are scared. Of course, you have a fever that over 103, 105. This is the most stressful time when you have a pain in your body and you have sweating and you fever. You feel like you're gonna, but don't get panic. Drink a lot of liquid, take the medicine, and wait until you see if you get better. If you don't get better, just go to the hospital. And in another hands, like I say, my organization or our organization provide through the city hall glove, mask, and hand sanitation to Ramon Fernandez that we distribute to many people. Also, we went to the Help Crest to provide it with help with the pantry that they distribute the food. I sending in emails, and I believe that Ramon Fernandez talked to Jonathan Zamora. So if we can use the parking lot of the old fire department and this Washington Street. So it's because we wanted to open distributing some food there one of the day in the weekend or in the week. It's okay. So we're waiting for that. So we try to work with the Feeding Winchester, one of the day that they're gonna give it to us. So if anybody have any space so we can use, just let us know. What is the other one? I have writing everything down here. So what question that I receive that people calling me about is the rent. I know there is no pay the rent because many people doesn't work for 3 months until August 20, I believe. So many people call me and ask me, what is I gonna do when I put it on all the rent together? If when I start in work, I'm gonna have a lot of money there sitting and waiting for me. I say, okay, we're gonna go step by step. We're gonna wait and to see what is the government say, and then we're gonna go from there. But some people call me, like I have a 2 lady that call me and she say, the lease ended in June 1st. And the landlord called her and say, you have to move because I don't gonna renew your lease. So I just said to her, I'm gonna find out information what you can do. So definitely you're not gonna be in the street. So we have to help the people like this. So that's why our organization is planning to doing a goal fund for those people that doesn't get any stimulation from the government to help them with some rent, help them to pay a little bit so they don't get money from anywhere so we can help them. So I asked them for, we're gonna working with Ramon Fernandez and Jorge Mechan, Civil Ecuatorian Winchester, and Luis Jumbla. This is the organization that we have into now that they say they want to do with us. But I asked them if any organization, any business person that want to be with us, we working together. So this is the time when we need to be together to provide what is we need to give it to the people. I know it's hard time for money now, but little by little we can help. Our goal is $20,000. We're gonna meet tonight of what is doing another meeting, and we're gonna organize everything to put it on the goal fund together, and then we are leaving you know about it.
Thank you so much, Dinora, and thank you to the Peekskill Hispanic Community Corp team. I'm so glad that you and your family are feeling better and that you've recovered from COVID-19, and really appreciate you sharing your story. It's a story, and I know that this is, unfortunately, this virus has really hit our Latino community extremely hard here in Peekskill. So we really appreciate all your efforts in ensuring that they're getting food delivered to them, that their medicine is being picked up for them, that you're doing everything you can to ensure that they have a swift and a safe recovery, and that we're limiting the amount of contact that they may be, or the public contact that they're making to ensure that the spread is contained. So we really appreciate all the work on that front. And Dinora, if you haven't spoken to Jonathan yet, I can connect you directly to him, because he should be able to make a connection with Feeding Westchester if Ramon hasn't done that yet. But you should speak directly to Jonathan, because I know that he's doing a really great job coordinating for folks who want to do food distribution. Are there any questions from folks on the phone or online? And
yes, actually there are many. I'll just throw them out there and you can decide which ones, but as usual, there are questions about what high school graduation might look like. So alternative graduation plans. There's a question for HRH about when and if open for podiatry services for somebody with diabetes. I think we had that question actually a week or two ago as well. Yeah. And also the question of availability to antibody testing, either at HRH or locally. Those are a few of the questions that are coming up.
Do we still have folks from HRHCare, the school district, on?
I'm still on.
Yes, I'm still on.
Yes,
In regard to podiatry, that's still a service that we haven't gotten approval yet to open back up. That was a mandated closure. And so as soon as we do, they can go to our website and we'll be posting when that service will be available again.
If I can also add on to that, we do still operate a telemedicine service, and while we can't obviously do procedures that way, they can call for a telemedicine visit and at least get an assessment, and there may be some interim steps that we can offer for a podiatric service.
And then I believe there's a question about antibody testing.
Right. So antibody testing is certainly ongoing. HRH is beginning to consider that. It should be known and clear that antibody testing is really not a therapeutic test. It's not really a diagnostic test. The only purpose of antibody testing right now is to identify people who may be eligible to donate plasma for potential studies using plasma to treat COVID. It does not give any assurance or any certification or any level of confidence about a return to work, about level of contagion or anything else. That said, HRH is beginning to go through the steps to have that approved, and after a consultation with a provider to make very clear what the testing results are, we will be able to offer that, and that will probably be in the next few weeks. But again, it is not a test for any sort of resistance or contagion. It is only for the purpose of plasma donation.
Thank you so much, Ben and Reverend Phillips. And then I believe that there was a question on graduation.
Right, so we are presently finalizing plans for graduation. They are not finalized at this time. Parents who have questions should reach out to Mr. Rodney Arthur, the building principal, right, the high school principal, and stay tuned to our website, because as soon as we have the location finalized, which we're very close to doing, and the plans for graduation within the governor's guidelines and the CDC guidelines, they will be published widely through social media and also on the website, but they are not finalized yet at this time.
Great, thank you, Dr. Foster. Andy, are there any other questions, or can we move forward over to our?
I would say move forward.
Okay, great, thank you. So next up, we have Carol Voisey from Choice. Carol, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. I'm with Choice Advocacy. I am the Program and Development Coordinator, and I have with me also Amy Fleming, who is the Director for Choice here in Peekskill. I'm going to turn it over
everyone.
I'm going to turn it over to Amy just for a second, and then we'll come back for more information.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to say hi. I think I'm the equivalent of photobombing your community forum, because I didn't identify myself earlier, but I wanted to thank you for inviting us to be part of the forum. And I just, Choice Peekskill, we are still working remotely, providing case management supports and coordination for all of our clients. And also we're available to help sort of even those that are new to us, to help troubleshoot situations. If there's, most of our clients are already, I'd say financially marginalized. And so lately, since the close down across the state, a lot, it's an extra level of challenge for our clients to get their needs met. And so we've seen a lot more reaching out to us and helping to find food resources, get medications delivered, meals delivered to those that aren't able to get out. So, mostly I wanted to just hop on to say, we're all working remotely, we're here. If anybody needs help, like I said, troubleshooting or connecting to legal services to prevent evictions, or applying for any other services. And thank you.
Thank you, Amy. And please don't feel like you're Zoom bombing us. You're absolutely part of the community, and we're really happy to have you on. And I apologize for not mentioning your name earlier on, but thank you so much for joining us.
So we've had opportunity recently to pass out some flyers in front of the library on Tuesdays when the Rotary has been distributing food with Mainzer's Landscaping. And our choice, I just want people to understand what choice is about. We're here to assist people. It's a no-cost assistance for anybody who calls our support number for Medicaid and Social Security benefits, food stamps, health care, health benefits. We have care managers who are available to talk to you if you're struggling with the impact of COVID, whether it be financially or emotionally. We are participating, like I said, with the food distribution with other organizations in the community. We are here in Peekskill. We've been serving Peekskill for a while, but we know that the impact of COVID-19 on our community now means that more people are in a situation where they might need our services and they might not be aware that we've been here or that we can help them. And we're just a phone call away. We can help, like Amy said, with the landlord negotiations. We can help with temporary housing. These are services that we provide on a regular basis, but we just want to get it out there to the community that we are here. We are working remotely. We're also hiring. We also, for bilingual, not just for hiring, but also we have the capacity to help people who find themselves in this situation who might struggle with English. So our flyers that we've been passing out have also been in English and in Spanish. Our hours are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 p.m., but we do have an emergency number. When you call our number, it will direct you to that if it's after hours. If you're in need of support, our number is 914-576-0173, 914-576-0173. And you can also learn more about Choice on www.choiceofny.org. So we're glad to be part of this conversation. Thank you so much, Councilperson Vanessa, for inviting us, and City Manager Andy. And we're just grateful also. Thank you, Mayor Rainey, for all that you're doing for the community and keeping us all connected.
Thank you so much, Carol and Amy. Thank you for being on this morning and for all your hard work that you're doing in our community. The services you're providing are really critical, especially, I mean, they've been critical, but especially during this time. So we really appreciate you sharing this information with us today. And anything we can do to support and continue to amplify your work, please let us know, because you do play a very valuable part in our community. So we appreciate that.
Thank you. And if anybody, because we are hiring during this time, if anybody is looking towards that or interested in that, you can go to our website, which I mentioned earlier, and the link for the applications and for the description of the jobs are there available online.
Great, thank you, Carol.
Carol, before you go, thank you all so much, sincerely. I'm sorry I had to take my screen off, but I had to go pick up some stuff. But can you share the website so people can take a look at that for sure? People that are watching now, if you could just share the website. I think that's absolutely fantastic that you're looking to hire, especially during the times right now. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be interested in trying to apply And there's also people that I'm sure would be interested in just volunteering to help, because you do a lot of work. You both do a lot of work in our community that you're very humble about today. But we appreciate you for sure. So if you could certainly share that website for those who are listening in now, maybe they can share, maybe get some people to apply and see if they can get involved.
Yep. Thank you, Mayor Rainey. I want to share the choice support number one more time, because even if it's not you, maybe you know somebody who's struggling at this time that you can share it with. It's 914-576-0173. And our website is www.choiceofny.org. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions?
Yes. There was one, let me see. I guess I just wanted to mention that there was a question actually I answered offline or online, but off this, which was that apparently there was a bear sighted off the Bear Mountain Parkway, and folks wanted to know if there was danger. The police did respond, tried to find it and scare it away, and the DEC has been notified. So just so folks know about that. There was a question for Dinora Pacheco, which essentially related to the progress of the census, and particularly in the Hispanic community. You know, there's a full-on important campaign to get as many people answering the census and filling out that survey as possible. The deadlines have been extended out through, I think, October. And the number of people who fill it out really matters for resources. The population of the city is probably over 25,000, but that needs to be documented in the census in order for you know, many of the sources of funding to come down through and support organizations like the ones on this panel. So I don't know, Dinora, if you have any particular comment about the census and the Hispanic community in particular. You're on mute right now.
Okay, sorry. Before I get sick and what is it? I get sick March 20, so we have a list of people that want to help fill it out the form in online or directly to the people that need help to fill it out the form for the census. So I believe Kitty Rosado is working on that to try to help people to fill it out. We have a time to do this, and thank you for that question, because now is the time to fill it out the census, so everybody can count. So we're gonna talk tonight about that, and we're gonna see the way how we can provide help for the people who need help to fill it out the form. And another thing is, if any organization want to work with us, they can contact me at 914-582-3607 or dinorapacheco1@hotmail.com. So this is what else we have into now.
Thank you. Thank you, Dinora, and thank you for all your efforts on the census. It's really up to all of us to make sure that we all turn folks out to fill out the census, and we really appreciate the work you're doing to ensure that our Hispanic community isn't undercounted, because they do make up a majority, a good majority of folks in our city, and we want to ensure that each and every one of them and their children are being accounted for, so we can get the adequate funding we need to continue our services and the work of our not-for-profits. So we appreciate that.
Thank you, the mayors and the Rainey for giving me the opportunity last Friday to work in the youth group parking lot to distribute some food. I believe that we have it tomorrow. So if it is so, we're gonna be there.
Yes, I just want to say, Dinora, thank you sincerely for not only helping, but for sharing your story. You know, there's so many, you know, this has created a lot of fear in a lot of people over the last few months, but, you know, you're a prime example of a survivor and a successful survivor, and you're still giving back to your community as often as you can. So you're highly, highly appreciated. So thank you sincerely. And we will be out there tomorrow morning, bagging up food, distributing food to those who can use it or those who just may need it, especially our seniors at the Youth Borough parking lot. So if anyone is interested to volunteer, please contact me or the city manager or any council person for that matter. And Dinora, I thank you and all you've done over the years, period. So this is like a big thankful meeting for me today, but I thank you all for everything. But we will be out there tomorrow morning at 11 bagging, and we'll be distributing at 2 p.m.
Thank you so much. Peekskill, together make a difference.
That's right. Thank you. And next up we have, last but not least, and thank you, Jessica, so much for sticking it out. We have our Director of Section 8, Jessica Ganis, with us today.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me on this call, Councilperson Agudelo. I really appreciate it to give the update to the community. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. I'm here to give a brief update on the Section 8 department and the things we are doing during the pandemic. But before I do, I would just like us all to keep our thoughts with the families who have lost their loved ones during this pandemic. Especially in the Section 8 department, we have lost a few clients and landlords due to this pandemic, and we just want to send our thoughts and condolences to those families. In the Section 8 department, we continue to social distance. We're all working remotely. We do come in the office, so there is a staff person there every day of the week. It's just on rotation. Currently, we are processing about 30 to 40 income changes and household changes a month for clients who have lost their jobs or family members due to the pandemic. We're still processing annual reexaminations, and we're just requesting all information to be sent to us through, we send clients a pre-stamped enclosed envelope, so they don't have to leave their house. They could just put it in the mail and by email. Email is the preferable method, but however, we're struggling a lot with clients who do not have access to internet and stuff of that matter. We also have granted a lot of extended leave for clients who are quarantined with family. This is for family who, let's say, is not in the subsidized unit. Maybe they have an elderly parent and they'd rather be quarantined with that family member. So we're granting extended leave so they're not in the unit. So we're still paying their current landlord, but they're just not there. The biggest obstacle we're coming across in the Section 8 department is assisting our elderly and disabled population. It's a really big struggle because they can't come to us face to face. They can't come to drop off paperwork. So we're really dealing with them through the phone, email, or the mail. But as I mentioned earlier, a lot of them do not have access to the internet and they're not able to send information to us as quick as we would like. So there is a delay, and we're trying to work with them the best way we can. So we're just asking if landlords, community members, if anyone that's in their buildings or homes can just help assist them while still continuing to practice social distancing so they can at least get the paperwork to us, you know, whether it's sending us an email or a fax, just something so they can help the elderly and disabled. We're also focusing our attention and efforts on landlord participation in the program. This is a time where not just the clients are struggling, but our landlords are struggling as well, you know, trying to rent their units and trying to, you know, get clients because realtors are on hold as well during the pandemic. So the one thing I can say about Section 8 is it's a guaranteed rent. So compared to market renters who may have lost their source of income and cannot pay their rent at all, with Section 8 clients, if they lose their income, Section 8 will cover the full portion. So that's a good benefit to the program. And we're just asking landlords or owners who have any questions or, you know, want to learn more about the program, please reach out to me. I've had a lot of meetings recently with landlords one-on-one to explain the program, to just help them understand, because a lot of times people are scared of the program because they don't understand it. So the more information you have, the more you'll know and be open to it. Currently, we have delayed all our annual inspections until further notice, but we are doing inspections for new units. We're doing it virtually through video. So that's still a benefit for the landlords for new units. And we're not preventing our clients from moving. So if they decide they want to move from a unit, as long as their rent is paid to date, they can move. We're demanded by HUD that we cannot stop moves or portability. So that close out my segment. I just say that we all just work together and continue to support one another and look out for one another during this pandemic. We're doing our best that we can. A lot of questions we have is, are you in the office? We are there every day of the week. It's just on rotation, and you always have access to us through email and phone.
Thank you so much, Jessica, for all the hard work you and your team are doing over at the Section 8 department. We really, really appreciate it. Do we have any questions for Jessica from folks on the phone or folks online? Andy, I think you're muted.
Reverend Phillips, I have one question. In terms of your response time, whether it be by email or phone, what does that look like?
Well, I'm pretty quick with my emails. I've reached out to Erica a lot through HRH. I believe Erica works with the preservation company as well, if I'm correct. But we're doing between 24 to 48 hours to response time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Jessica. There was also a question related to when, face-to-face or in-person visits would be possible. And I just responded online that City Hall it continues to be closed to the public. We're working on a reopening plan. I know the library is working on a reopening plan, and all the businesses in the city as well, within the guidelines set by the state of New York. And I think it might be helpful just to wrap this call up just with some information about that. The reopening of facilities, whether they're city, restaurants, library, beauty parlor, any of the insurance offices, every single category of facility is addressed in some way within the New York State rules for reopening. Our region will reopen according to timelines set by the state. And when that occurs, it rolls out, and certain types of facilities are allowed to open under certain conditions, limitations on capacity and social distancing and use of masks. And then, week by week or month by month, the state will allow more different kinds of facilities to open. And we hope that we get to a point where we're back to normal, so to speak, but we all know and understand that what that normal looks like, I think as Ben Bolton said earlier, it will be a new normal. And one wonderful kind of example of reopening which is planned will be the farmers market on June 6th. Don't expect it to look exactly like it looked before, because it will be one of the most visible places where city residents will begin to see what the new normal looks like as far as how that particular facility organization will work. But you can expect every single door you walk through as we progress towards reopening to have a highly visible set of rules or guidelines for how that organization is in compliance with health codes. So I just wanted to say that it's not specific to Section 8. That office will be open eventually, just like all the others. And we'll work with our guests to make sure that they're provided for. And at this time, all city services are available. We have staff at City Hall every single day, and they're responding phone, mail, internet, appointment only when necessary, just like Jessica just described.
Great, thank you so much, Andy. And I know that we're pretty over time, so I really appreciate all the our community leaders on the call today for sticking it out, for staying on, for answering all the questions that have been asked via our Facebook page, and for all the hard work that you are all doing day in and day out. I know that this is we're looking at a new landscape, and everyone is we're working on shifting ground. So I really appreciate how flexible everyone has been and how willing you all have been to collaborate with us and ensure that our community is staying safe and staying informed, and that we're engaging and keeping folks active in the safest way we possibly can during this time. So I want to thank you all for that. Is the mayor still on the phone?
Yes, he is.
Okay, great. Mayor, do you want to close us out?
Certainly. I'll make it quick so I have to go to another call myself. So I just want to say again, thank you to all of you for taking your time out to be on this call this morning for this hour and a half or so. My son's actually in his class right now. He's on a Google Doc or Google Meet with his class teacher. So this is kudos to our school district for what they do. But thank you, Andy, Councilperson Agudelo, and all of our stakeholders for all the work that you guys are doing in the city of Peekskill and abroad. And I look forward to seeing you all in the near future. If any of you are interested, or if you have any information that you'd like me to share or the city to share, please email it to myself or Andy or any of the members of the council. We all have platforms of social media. We all have the city website. We have the government channel. Most of the information that we speak about that the city is doing to address COVID-19, well, you'll find on the city website as well as social media page in our government channel. So other than that, God bless you all. Thank you for all you're doing, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And God bless one of the greatest cities on earth, ladies and gentlemen, Peekskill, New York.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to all of our community leaders. Thanks again for joining us today. And for all of you watching, thanks for tuning in. I hope you'll tune in next Thursday, 9:30, and have a beautiful Thursday. Thanks again. Bye, everyone.